Hey.
Hello and good evening and welcome to the Beverage Hour.
Yes.
Welcome to the truth behind the truth. We
The
salute
drunk hour.
exactly. We salute you tonight. You guys, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight for our beverage episodes of your choice. So we're going to share a few wines, some vegan wines, some regular wines, and then we'll go roll as the month rolls out. We'll roll out some more opportunities for you. Not that we're promoting alcohol. Okay, let's make that claim straight, because folks will say, "Oh, they talking about alcohol now on that show," But if the shoe fits, wear it.
Welcome to
Against religion. You're talking about drinking alcohol. What else? All kind of debauchery on this show.
All kind of debauchery on this show. But those of you, so this is an opportunity to, I think Harold probably mentioned a couple of juice drinks as well for you guys tonight. But as we call it, a beverage of your choice. However, we want to promote some opportunities to healthier opportunities in drinking your alcoholic beverage, if you want to call it that. But anyway, again, welcome. We want to encourage you guys definitely to share, like, okay? Got to get the macros up, guys. We need you guys out there like plugging, sharing, getting your friends involved, okay? They have got 3 platforms to share from, okay? You've got YouTube, you've got Twitter, and you've got Facebook, okay? Right. Please go to one of those and just share it all over the world, okay? Because we want to know that you guys are out there, that you're paying attention to all of this great gossip, okay, that we're bringing to you and the way that we can, and all of the great helpful hints of mental wellness, spiritual wellness, and financial wellness, and definitely physical wellness, okay? So it's all important. And one other point before I can shut my mouth, we want to remind you guys, you can now support us, okay? You can definitely go to our Cash App, all right? Just type in on your Cash App, the truth behind the truth. It'll pull right up on your Cash App, and you can send them millions. Okay, we're ready for them. All right, and also on Venmo, we are Venmo. If you have, you get your cell phone handy real quick, you can also scan the QR code there. It'll take you right to our Venmo site. So we're active, but we need your money.
Yeah, and remember,
because we want to grow. All right.
Yeah, remember, we love the money that jingles. But
absolutely.
We'd rather have the money that folds.
Okay. That is so true. Okay.
That's a reference from Coming to America.
That's right. Yeah, that was Sexy Chocolate, wasn't it?
That was the girl. That was the McDowell's girl.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. That is good. I love that.
I love that part too.
Gentlemen, how are you? Parnell, how you doing, sir?
I am doing great. It is a whole lot of stuff going on. My theater company is opening night of our production of A New Brain. Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And my friend Billy Porter's concert is tonight at the Pantages. So I'm going to be zooming from here to get up there in time.
I know he's your friend, okay? And this is all said in love, all right? But you could probably stay at your house and still hear him sing. Love him dearly, love what he's doing for the community, but Billy is loud, okay?
As long as listen, wait, hold on. Y'all been seeing this Janet Jackson bit that's been going on, right? In one of her concerts, she was walking and she said, "Ooh, who's smoking?"
I didn't see that.
I can't.
I hope he don't get caught up in the smoke himself tonight, because out here we be smoking.
Lord, they know they do. So what's your beverage of choice tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a nice little rosé. Wait, it's here. It's Frida.
Frida.
Yes. Rosé Travanese.
Travanese.
Yes. This is
wonderful.
All the remains from a bottle of wine that was given to me for my birthday. I kind of held on to it as long as I could, but tonight was the night.
Wonderful. Good deal. Harold, how are you? Love the garb. Love the garb. It's just
I'm preparing for my exodus back to the motherland. I'm leaving.
Oh my God. You know what? You gotta be careful.
I'm leaving y'all.
Choose your country wisely.
You choose your country. Hey, you better keep on that land around your mention. That be the mother of your land. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm doing good. I don't really drink, but I found me some kombucha
Okay.
It has some alcohol in it. I got the Chardonnay. What is it? Chardonnay
Chardonnay.
flavor. So it's fermented tea that has a bit of alcohol in it. So I'm not going to drink that much because this mouth will get real loose, and I don't want too much.
I'm like,
Well, Dollar, how are you?
I'm fine. I just hope my mouth don't get too loose.
Oh, okay, all right. We'll keep it.
You go back and watch the episode. Like, did I say that?
Yeah, I know. Well, it does have the way of relaxing you. So at the end of the day, and bringing those choice words out that may be necessary. You only speaking what's in the heart anyway. So
Well, they do say alcohol is the true serve now. That's why. That's why. Who was it? Betty Davis said you should never bring alcohol to an interview.
Oh.
Because all the stuff was spilling.
I love it. Okay. Hey, that's good, Betty. I like that one. I like that one. I love that one. So
what you drinking, D? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the pink mosquito.
I love mosquito.
Yes, me too. It's very sweet and it's very sparkly, and it might get me a little. I just hope I just don't get the loose mouth. That's just like that. That's
I thought you were going somewhere else. That's how dirty my mind is.
Well, you know what?
Let's keep it PG, please.
I thought it might give me a little. I'm like, now what is he getting ready to
say? What you drinking?
So what I'm drinking, okay? What I'm sipping? No, sipping upon. Okay. Okay. Sipping upon, all right? So we're starting out with Pink Mosquito as well. Okay. We can't say the brand name, unfortunately, because we don't have they're not a product placement for us just yet. But any Pink Mosquito people that are out there, okay, we'll take your product placement anytime, all right? Yeah. But it's a Pink Mosquito is starting out this evening, then we're gonna move into a little of a Riesling later. All right. So we'll let you know how the flavors fermentate within the mate. Okay.
Y'all got a full bar over there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now, wasn't it in the Bible that Jesus made the perfect wine from water?
Yes, he did.
I wonder what that tasted like. Was that as
well?
The description said it was the best of the best. It couldn't have been any better in the land. So the alcoholic level was probably about a 200. Because they said everybody that left the wedding party was very happy. Okay. I wish I could have been the fly on the dust.
The fly on the dust. On the jaw.
Fly on the dust during that time period just to see what had happened so I could tell our religious people that, okay, they did drink wine, okay? It was, all right? And it was made from heaven.
Right.
It was a party.
It was exactly. So let's go ahead and dig in a little bit. All right. Let's see.
Well, let's talk about the coronation. Did y'all?
Yeah, let's do the
coronation. Did y'all stay up all morning and watch that little shit thing?
Well, I have to say I didn't stay up all night watching, but I did wanted to see what the highlights of what was going on. It was very interesting. I mean, here's the thing. I know everybody has their opinion about it, which is great. 70 years.
Huh? It was a dry English muffin.
The thing about it is that is something that happens probably once in a lifetime for most part. I mean, we probably will never ever get a chance to see that again. Maybe. Let's Charles decides to go to the other side pretty soon. Pretty soon. At the end of the day. However, the pomp circumstance, yes, it was elaborate. Yes, it was all those other type of things. The one thing that was impressive to me is that they're trying to be very inclusive now in England. Okay, so I have to give them props for where they're trying to grow. Okay, so they did have the gospel choir. Okay, during the coronation, which has never happened before. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I mean, never happened. So I think his idea of where he's going to be the head of the church, I think he's trying to incorporate a little bit more liveliness or spiritual opportunities within what he's doing. So we'll just have to wait, sit back and see. Okay, I mean, as to what this man's going to do. I mean, he may be the complete reform as to a lot of things that are going on. He may be in a place of asking for forgiveness for his past sins, if you want to use that.
Past transgression.
Yeah, better said, But yeah, I think, that now, Queen Gorilla, I mean, that was a whole nother story.
Stop it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's the wine. I can blame it on the wine tonight. I can blame it on the alcohol.
That is a dry, crusty English muffin right there.
I just how this man. Now here comes the gossip. Okay, here's a good part. Here comes the gossip. I don't see how this man left Diana for that.
Oh, see now. Okay, see. Now I gotta dip into my book of Oprahology.
Okay.
When it comes to that, it's not about how that person looks; it's about how she makes him feel. So she may not be as pretty as Diana.
That's right.
Or all that stuff, but she does it for him. Right. She makes him feel some kind of way that connection was there, and he was kind of.
And she put it on him. That's what she did. She put it on him. She may not be elegant and proper and pretty, but that's all you got to do is put it on.
Well, I'm gonna put it this way, and you can say your point. I wonder why the stock on paper bags went up in England.
What?
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm gonna say
next time.
I'm just saying, it went up. Okay, but anyway, go ahead. Your point.
Y'all send them letters to JB. I didn't say it.
I'm going to use the word
cable. When that internet stopped working over there, you know why. They got power over there in England.
And we do have listeners in England too.
Well, I tell you one thing, he better have had a gospel choir in that ceremony, because them Commonwealths are falling on the wayside like dominoes. They're like, forget about it. You had a woman of color in your family. Now she's over here having a birthday party. I wonder who's at the birthday party. That's what I'm interested about. Who's at Archie's birthday party today? But yeah, it was great. I mean, it was worth. I mean, if you're into history like that, European history, you would have wanted to watch something like that.
Right.
And to be honest with you, just to see where it goes from here. Because to be honest with you, I'm just. Oh God, I'm so I don't really care too much about that little family over there. They got whatever they got. But I tell you this, Harry looks kind of like he looked very suntanned. He looked very on point with his suit from Dior and red hair. He was looking nice.
Some people said
Miss Megan gonna have another baby soon.
Well, I do love. Go ahead, JB.
I was gonna say, some people said he looked kind of healthy. I mean, he's been eating some good food lately.
Yeah, I think they expected him to come back being all downtrodden and trite, and just all like, oh, he's all like, hey, how you doing? Right. My dad's being crowned king. Good to see you.
Yo, what up, y'all?
Them greens are kicking in. That's what it is. Miss Doria cooking them greens.
Okay.
Yes, that's what's going on.
I know we were talking about it earlier. Speaking of the royal family, I just finished watching the Queen Charlotte.
Oh yes, we're gonna get into that. Yes.
Oh my goodness, because I'm just like, okay, so then there's George, and then Edward, and then Victoria. Then Victoria had Elizabeth. Elizabeth had Charles. And now here we are. And go ahead. No, it was.
I made my point after you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was time. Oh man,
we'll
make it when we come back.
We'll come back. We'll come back with Bridgerton after this. But it's a great show. But we'll be right back.
Junk Stars, baby. Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth Beverage Night.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
For your beverage of choice. As I said before, we started at the top of the show. We've got mosquito, pink mosquito going on right now. We call it mosquito, but it's actually Moscato. Okay, very, very enjoyable beverage. If you like a sweet wine,
a sleeping sedative.
Yeah, a sweeter wine. It's a very, very good wine for if you like a sweeter wine. It is very, very, very mellow. You know, definitely to the taste. I love it a lot. There's another one that I like. That's another sweet wine. That's an Asian wine called plum wine. Oh my gosh,
yes.
Plum wine is now. That's more like a dessert wine. But it's very, very good as well. I mean, overly sweet, but it's very, very good. And then we'll talk about some of the other sweet stuff out there. But Harold, well, we're talking about it real quick before we get back to what we were talking about earlier. Do you, can you tell us a little bit about vegan wines, or do you know a little bit about what's in them or what makes them vegan? I'm sorry.
All I know is about kombucha.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
So that's fermented tea. It's fermented tea.
Fermented tea. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what is the process? Do you know the process how it gets? How long does it take in fermentation? You know, for it to become.
This one is 45 days.
Wow. 45 days. Okay. And then is it? Is it sold in the alcoholic section, or is it just on regular?
You gotta have ID. They ID'd me for this.
Wow.
Like, oh, bless your heart. You ID'd a 55-year-old man with all this gray hair. Bless your heart.
Hey, you know.
I'll still ask for your ID with gray hair. I'd be like, where's your ID, sir?
That's flattering.
Back in, I know we're going to kind of keep lively because we have a lot to talk about tonight. Yes. You were about to make an appointment with you, Parnell. Bridgerton.
It was very interesting because I know there was all the controversy about, you know, Queen Charlotte. Was she black? Wasn't she? How did they get black? I'm like, well, the historians made remarks on her Negroid features, and I love that they really play on that.
Yes,
in Bridgerton, and they're just like, listen, it's not a historical, it's fiction, you know, based on historical fact. So just let us tell this story and enjoy it. And you know, there is part of its racism is quite present in there.
Yes, it is. It is. It really
is. How they deal with it, and till to this day, how we're like, well, we got to make sure that once we get into positions of power, that we act right, so the rest of us can be on the come up and still maintain that level of status. It was a good series.
Yeah,
it is. Where you live, Harold?
He's in Charlotte.
There's a connection,
right? Queen Charlotte. That's what Charlotte's named after. Queen Charlotte.
The city of Charlotte, North Carolina, is Queen Charlotte. But you know what? I come. She wasn't considered a very attractive queen because they made a reference to that in the Tale of Two Cities when they talked about the differences in Paris and London, and they talked about the differences between Marie Antoinette, which was a good friend of Queen Charlotte. They called Queen Charlotte very plain, and they called Marie Antoinette very beautiful. So yeah, there were reference to her looks back in the day, but they were never favorable. But one thing I when I realized that she was a Moor, because they didn't never call her black, they just called her a Moor. And if you know the history of the Moors came from North Carthage, which is North Africa. And they came over from there, and they kind of maneuvered themselves over from Italy and toured all over through Europe. There was an invasion, like the British invasion of the 60s. There was a Moor invasion because they infiltrated the royal houses of Europe. And I think Queen Charlotte was German, and her relatives were from Germany, which is
if you point that out in the series.
Yes, which is if you know the House of Windsor, they're German. They're not really British. They're not a British royal family. I call them the German landlords of England with money. That's what I call them. Because they always married their German cousins.
Oh, wow.
Until they married Princess Diana, and that's where you got the English rose. That's why they call her Princess Diana the English rose, because she was the first English aristocrat to have married within that German family. That's another story. But
our resident history buff. Okay.
Yes, I love it. But it's just the fact that Charlotte she was famous for the ban on the sugarcane because of the slave trade. She was the first, and I don't know if they mentioned that in the show because I haven't watched it yet.
No.
But she was one of the first leading leaders to ban that sugarcane product because of the sugar plantations over there in the Bahamas and Jamaica that the English had controlled because of the stop of slavery. The UK, they stopped their slave trade in the early 1830s because of that movement. So that is good that they're bringing that to reference, the fact that she was a black queen. She was, but they just never called her black. They called her a Moor, like Shakespeare. He was a Moor. Let's not get into that now. Beethoven, he was a Moor. Let's not get into that. Cleopatra, a Moor.
We know the controversy over that.
Right. So what we're finding out, there's a lot more.
A lot of more.
There's a lot more.
Hey, Miss Queenie, how you doing?
That's my dear aunt. Okay.
Yes.
My dear
Tawana.
Yes.
Tawana. Yeah, cousin Tawana.
But anyway, so like I said, more of the Moors in that point.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's transition to somebody that wanted to be a leader and is still trying to be a leader. Okay. But I mean, at the end of the day,
he's German too.
I know,
German immigrant. That's a connection. Let's go into Trump.
Yes, just for recall.
Let's get into it.
So let's get into it. But it's so unfortunate this man has just had to infect America like he did. At the end of the day, and people have literally lost their minds. I mean, I can't believe that how I didn't realize that there was such a level of stupidity that's in America. They say the worst thing in the world is call somebody stupid. I'm sorry. I got to call you stupid. All right. Because, to frame your life around this man, at the end of the day, when somebody just blatantly tells you to your face that I'm lying to you, and you say, no, you ain't lying. You can't be lying because and then tells you 27,000 times. 27,000 times. That's more than, I don't know. Anyway, but so we're just going to real quick about this deposition that he's in under for allegedly raping the women that he has. So this is part of what he had to say during his testimony this week.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
Wow. Okay, so my
first idiotic was that statement. Just idiotic.
Right.
Who would say something like that? That's almost, it's so juvenile. I would
capitalist.
Yeah, true.
See?
It's already happened. England shut him down already. Look, what I tell you, they shut down, but at least he has a smile on his face. He has a smile on his face.
Yes, it's really just. I mean, I don't know, but it's just crazy. But for him to sit there and say that, I mean, I think that he's trying to defend his own idea. So he would make that idea be
Oh, we have a little
that he is not interested in her, and then she, that was just very stupid, But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Y'all, we fading in and out a little bit, aren't we?
Yep.
Just a little bit. But in a way.
I'm scared.
But you know what? Trump, I would say this. He is a character, a very narcissistic industrialist.
Right.
There is no humanity in those types of people.
Right.
He doesn't see the humanity in women, children, or anything that goes against his money. So I don't really, I'm not shocked. I'm not, because it's very rare to see somebody with that type of clout, that type of assets, have any type of human heart, unless it's about his own. And to be honest with you, he's almost called this woman his second wife. Who was his second wife? Marla.
Marla.
He got her confused with his second wife.
That's how empty this whole thing is.
Yeah, but
how
it is what it is.
I guess there's levels of stupid, like I said.
Delusions of grandeur.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I know, Harold, you look like puzzled, like really.
I'm so sick of him. It's just like
And honestly, I wish he would go away, but unfortunately, we're stuck with this idealistic, whatever this man is. I mean, it has plagued our society, and I don't know how we can get rid of it. God forbid that he gets, elected, again, and trying to run. Hopefully, he'll be in jail during that time frame.
We can go about it the Jane Fonda way.
What's that?
Let's get Jane Fonda on The View.
What did she say?
I can't say that out loud.
Oh, okay.
Go back and watch The View when Jane Fonda gave that. When Jane Fonda gave that look, like we can go about it another route.
Oh yeah, I know.
And
right?
she gave it. Everybody like, what's the route? Are you talking about assassin?
Is that what she said?
Well, we can't put that out.
We can't put that out.
We can't put that out there like that. Okay.
But we need to be careful of this guy, because this man is he is going to be, if he gets back in, God forbid, he will be our first dictator. So
yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
That's why I'm moving to Africa. If he becomes, I am moving to. If he becomes president, I'm leaving. I hear you. Go ahead.
Depend on which part of Africa. Now, South Africa will probably be best in our situation. Let's talk about this Jordan Neely situation, since that's based out of New York. Did y'all see that?
Oh yes,
tragic situation with this guy who was homeless for some amount of time, and and he was a Michael Jackson impersonator too, as well. And when I read his story, I felt so bad, because we live out here in LA, and you see a lot of people on the street who are homeless, or destitute, or on drugs, and you don't know of their story. Right. And to see this situation happen, where this man was hollering for food or for help, it makes you wonder, where was the humanity? Why? And then, let me tell you this. I work in a store every day where we have situations where people come in off the street. Mm-hmm. There are situations where we can't reason and we can't control, but we try not to hurt them or cause any harm, because that's a liability to us in the store. Right. But the fact is that you have a lot of people out here who are mentally ill, and there is not a lot of homeless. Right. I don't want broad stripe. No, but to be honest with you, there are some who are mentally ill, and you cannot reason with them. But the fact that this man had this man in a chokehold, right, and did not give up on the chokehold, he just stayed constantly, and that took the life out of this man. So I don't like the fact that some people are calling this man, well, I wouldn't call him a hero, but I would say this: he should have went about it another route. Right, restraining him was the right way. Right, but to put him on a chokehold, they shouldn't have did that. Right, they should have just waited for the police at least to come and resolve that situation. But what did you think?
I want to hear this, because I got a little similar story.
That man, he had no right putting his hands on that man. That man was not physically threatening anybody. Okay. So he came on the plane yelling, and he's like, "I'm tired of being hungry. I haven't eaten. I haven't drank." He said, "If you want to be the hero and the good Samaritan, give that man a damn sandwich. Give him something to drink." Yeah. But this is what it is about the obsession that people have with controlling Black people. Okay. How we act, how we behave. That it's just like, oh, let's get him. I'm gonna put him in a chokehold. First of all, and I've said this. people who execute chokeholds, there are very few people who actually know how to do them properly.
Right.
And that's where people get hurt and killed because they don't know how to properly execute a chokehold.
Right.
If it was about just rendering him unconscious, he'd have been able to apply. The man would have been out within 10 to 15 seconds. That's all it takes.
Right.
Because you're putting pressure on the carotid and the jugular arteries. You're cutting off you're cutting off blood flow to the brain. But people always think when you choke somebody, you're choking off their oxygen. They're like, you don't know how to do a chokehold.
Right.
And having somebody in a chokehold for 15 minutes, plus 2 other people holding that person down.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, and everybody's kind of sat and just watched this happen.
I think more than anything, that is probably the saddest situation now. I mean, this guy obviously was a Navy SEAL, and he was a discharged Marine. Discharged Marine. Okay, I got you. Okay, well, you know, a lot of the training Marines, you know, they really go after. It's their psyche to go after the kill. You know, that's why they go through such vigorous, training and things like that before they even actually release into battle. So, and this is by no means justifying him, you know, killing this guy, but it just kind of puts an idea on where these people think, you know what I mean? And then that between his actions and the way he thought, you know, he probably went there, and what it certainly shouldn't have went there, you know, at the end of the day, because here's a guy that's transitioned probably for no reason at all or needed that particular help, you know. And Harold, say your point. I want to tell a quick story about that same situation.
Well, no, I mean, you just think about his story and where he was. Just think about if you were hungry, you hadn't eaten in days, how delirious you might feel.
Right.
But I think as a community, we failed him. You know, we failed Jordan.
Exactly.
When you hear his story at 14, he witnessed his mom being murdered by her boyfriend. He had to testify. And, you know, that trauma doesn't go away. And I'm sure he didn't get the support or help that he needed. And I just feel like this country, we have a mental health crisis that's of epidemic proportion, and we're not addressing it. We're talking about guns and making guns more available, and you have people with real mental issues. That's why we keep seeing shootings, you know, random shootings, school shootings. None of us are safe. Nobody's safe, and we're not dealing with the issue. We're not helping people, you know, and it's just really sad. I couldn't watch the video because I cannot fathom seeing another Black man be killed again, because it's like we're so desensitized to it, because next week we'll be on to something else. You know, there'll be another killing and another, and we're just not dealing with it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think as we go to break, and this we'll leave with this, it's just that the sense of where we are as humanity in general. Let's just take the race factor out of it, just in general. Humanity is in a very desperate place right now. And I don't know what we can do for those that have desire to help and to change it, what we can do. You know, I know some people say we need to pray more. I get that, or whatever the case may be. However, sometimes they pray ain't working. We got to do some changing. Okay, we got to do something. Pray about it. Get your mind right.
Something tangible.
Tangible. You know what I'm saying? Something tangible. Praying is great, but if that's your psyche about it, but at the end of the day, if you're getting on your knees praying and getting up and doing nothing about it, your praying ain't doing no good. Okay, but we're gonna talk about that when we get back from the break. We'll be right back, guys. All right, and we are back, guys. Quick reminder, definitely, we are looking forward to you sending us some money. This is our way of you actually contributing to the show, and of course, in the efforts to help make us grow, because we want to get to the studio and we want to be separate. We want all the fellas in one room so we can give you that vibe, and all that. But here's your way to be able to do it. Okay, you can scan the QR code to Venmo, or you can go to our just Cash App if you have that on your phone or whatever device that you use. You can just type in "The Truth Behind the Truth." It'll take you right to our Cash App, and you can donate. I don't see anybody. We want the, what did you say? We don't want the one that jingle. We want the one that folds.
Yeah, we like the money that jingles, but we rather have the one money that folds.
Okay, that's 50. That's 50 and above. Okay, the folding starts at 50 and above. Okay, but anyway, so like we were talking about, in the prior to, I think that we all have to have this responsibility of how people in humanity are being treated. And it's something that we just got to step it up and doing. Like I said before we went to break, from a religious perspective, you may feel praying is, but prayer without faith and putting to works is dead. Okay, at the end of the day, if you're not doing something to make the change, but if that's your perspective of dealing with it, hey, you got to get out there. You got to start encouraging people and not telling people how bad they are, but tell people how great they are. And a lot of this trauma comes from people being here that they've been told they've been worthless and the lowest, the bottom of the, the totem pole and all these other type of things. Please, let's kind of reframe all of our thinking and be able to approach this from a very strong, stronger position.
Even the president from Mexico saying in order to stop this fentanyl crisis, you just need to start giving people hugs.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Beautiful. I love that. Start getting that is so, because everybody matters. You know what I'm saying? We have differences of opinion and we don't like certain things, whatever the case may be. But if those things that we don't like ever change, then we got to be the change, to those things to start happening. But anyway, I'm not gonna be the dead horse because I know we can get into this a little bit more and get more passionate. But I do want to talk about one other point, which is another part of this change. Okay, these people steal it. Okay, I mean this is just getting really way out of hand from West Coast to the East Coast. I mean, it really is. I know you see it all the time in your store or whatever the case may be, and this theft is just ridiculous because it's costing all of us money at the end of the day. From your local CVS to your Walmart, and they're closing stores because of this. And people walking in. But there was this hero, that was in the TJ Maxx. It was and these women, I won't say young ladies, decided they're gonna go on a handbag spree. And decided they wanted to borrow on a permanent basis all of the handbags out of the TJ Maxx. And this particular man, he was at the doorway at the right time, so he grabbed the bags. And he grabbed, the girl was yanking trying to get the bags out there. So they kind of had a tussle going on, or whatever the case may be, and they fell against the security system and all this, whatever. But I do want to applaud the man for making the effort to at least. He said, "I'm tired of this shit." You know what I mean? And I think we need to get more tired of this ship going on and really be more involved. Right. I mean, if you see something like we were talking about before, for your story, if you see something, say something and then do something. You know what I mean? Don't stand there and just watch people just like, oh, well, you know what? That look cute, going out the door. Say something. At least tell a manager. Get involved. Let people know what's going on. But you got too many people saying, oh, I got my camera. I'm going to put it on camera. I got that. Come on, people. It's just, we got to be the change. That's all I'm saying. Anybody want to make a point about that theft?
Well, it's definitely an interesting. It's a double-edged sword on that, because the people have made that comment about jumping in and helping save the day, and then other folks like, listen, they even tell those sales associates, if people walk out, just let them go. We'll worry about getting them later, because those companies will not cover your injuries should you get hurt trying to be Captain Save them. But there's one thing, saying something or like yo knock it off, or yes, to call the manager over something or alert security and let them do their job. Keep yourself safe, because they ain't your store and they're not going to reward you with anything. You ain't gonna get a bag for free for helping.
right.
But because people are crazy. I remember there was a few months ago, I was in Target, looking at some sheets, and I hear, I don't know if I told you guys about that, and I heard like some running water going on, and I look, I'm like, what is that? Somebody's pouring something out, and I look down the aisle, and there is this older black man pissing in the aisle.
Oh God!
And I'm all like, what the hell? And I'm running, and I'm trying to find like some kind of security or some salesperson there to go and like get this man and try to keep an eye on him, trying to find somebody. And I'm like, about how I keep trying to keep an eye on him and looking out for somebody. And after a while, I'm just like, what can I do? Because I'm like,
He must have been a prostate cancer survivor because I felt that way before. He must have been a prostate cancer. I'm just going to say that it was a medical reason why he had to release himself.
He got
well, there's a such thing as called depend too. Okay.
Yeah, oh Lord, I can't. You know, thank God he wasn't taking
aren't that far away from where he was. He could have made it to the bathroom. He grabbed him a little suitcase and was walking down the aisle. And I'm just like, for real? And at that point, you go like, okay, well, y'all got security cameras all this. So somebody saw that on camera, and yeah.
Well, thank God he wasn't taking them, because to be honest with you, he was dumping or defecating. I had a situation where I was at a store, and I was in my store in particular, and it gets busy on Saturdays, but I swear this guy was way out in the back of the store in the corner, and that's what he was doing. And it was near the makeup aisle, which I know there was a lot of people who saw him, like, they saw him do it, but didn't say nothing to us about it. I went almost was helping. I was helping a customer, and we had white t-shirts in that very same area. Thank God, I have a reflex that's out of this world that I looked down. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh my God.
Literally.
Which it was. It was. Like,
right.
oh shit. But you know what? The saddest thing about that this external theft is very telling right now. It's very telling of the times, because I tell people everything is insured in these stores, right, but there still is a profit to be made. And if the profit is not being made, that means the prices have to go up. Right. And that's all I'm hearing right now. Oh my God, everything is so expensive these days. But then you think about it, why are they? And we know inflation is one of the biggest situations that are now going on, right, because of the pandemic. Right. We're having to pay all this money back.
Right.
We're having to pay all of this stuff back because of all of the stimulus money that the government threw at us and all this stuff. Even with the IRS, right? Yeah. If you got if you did your taxes, you got less money this year than you have in previous years. Right. To some of us, right. But still, though, it's out of hand, and because of it, there is a right-wing agenda that's going on, because now there are vigilantes now in these stores in certain places of the nation, right, that are stopping these people, right. And this now, as the tide is turning, you got and they're happening in Democratic cities, basically. Right, okay. Your Chicago's and your New York's and your LA. So y'all out here stealing, be careful, especially if you out there in Florida. It's a right to kill state. Right. It's a right to kill state. So if you go stealing out of stores or going into the wrong driveways, you better start wearing your bullet vest, because you're gonna be that target.
Well, and to this
I'm
point,
not even being funny, but that is the truth,
True. But to all of this point, then we're gonna move on. My whole thing is, I had a conversation about this very same subject with someone else not too long ago, and listening to them, and this is of the 20 to 30 generation individual that I was having this conversation with, and they were justifying the looting, they were justifying the stealing, they were justifying all of these other type of behaviors. Well, what had people are angry, they're mad. Well, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't see that is the opportunity to put yourself in what they're considering the have and the have-nots. I mean, everybody on this show, everybody that supports this show, even though you're sending money, everybody that is a part of this, where you see yourself, okay, you got to work to get there, baby. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? There's a price to pay, and not stealing to carry a Louis Vuitton. Okay, you can't be working at McDonald's and trying to carry Louis Vuitton.
But what if that is work? Like Erykah Badu said, work ain't none, but it's paying the bills. What if it's paying the bills? I'm done.
Well, no, I'm just making metaphors,
yeah, I know.
Of that. And but it's just a mentality is what I'm really driving to at this point. Okay. Yes. And I mean, there's a lot of blame we could say it's the rap artists. We could say that the people that are over sensationalized glamour, and thinking that they're supposed to have it a part of their lives. And I mean, I can pull out people that do that in their careers, but people expect to be like these people in careers and not necessarily knowing their authentic self. Okay,
Yeah.
because you know your authentic self and know who you are. You ain't out here trying to do all this type of stuff. I'm trying to be like Mary J. Blige and and Liz and Beyonce and I ain't say the names. Okay, don't look at me like that. I ain't say the names. I did suffocates of the names. Okay, so I don't want to point a finger.
Well, they would think you was mediocre.
Well, yeah, of course.
Right.
But I'm just saying, and this just is an educational point. Hey, it does. You need to find your purpose is the bottom line here. Okay, and whatever that purpose is, I believe that purpose will bring you the prosperity that you're supposed to have. Bottom line, because you can't take somebody else's prosperity and make it yours and think you're going to be successful with it, because it's going to catch up with you at the end of the day and one day soon.
Well, that's connected. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Harold. Go ahead.
I was going. Speaking of prosperity, let's talk about our nephews. What's going on with Chris Brown and Usher?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oof. Well, go ahead. I'll reserve myself after y'all get through.
Wait a minute. Do Miss Ebony from Housewives of New York, do she consider them mediocre?
Our average. That's a right.
Average. So, why I put that out there, right?
So apparently, Usher threw a party for Chris Brown, who's a good friend of his. They call each other brothers.
Right.
He threw a party, and Tiana, is her name Tiana Taylor?
Yeah.
Was there, and I guess Chris had an issue with Tiana being there and started cursing her out and tried to put her out of the party. And Usher tried to be the mediator,
Right.
And Chris Brown allegedly went off on him, and actually Chris Brown's folks allegedly did something to Usher. They roughed him up or whatever.
Wow.
And it's just really, really unfortunate, because Chris Brown is uber talented, but folks are saying that he has, a challenge with substances, and it's really sad to see, him have this happen,
Well, as you brought out, and I know you guys said, I want to go back to what's your point, but what you said earlier. Mental wellness, mental health. Okay, Chris Brown has been struggling since he's been in the spotlight with mental health issues. Okay, and nobody, and as far as in my recollection, that nobody has actually sat down with this young man and really helped him define who he was. Okay, because it stems back to the situation with his mother and all this type of stuff. And as he's gotten older, it is just getting worse. And then when you have people feed into it consistently that are around your enablers, and however they are enabling you with that, it's not changing the situation. So the actions, I'm not surprised. At the end of the day, we know the one that right now will be locked up for life. Mr. R. Kelly. At the end of the day, you have people around you, to change. I understand you had a traumatic, all of these things. I get it, and somebody had to see this. Nobody, everybody's not walking around, but it's like taking control of something to say, hey, can we come over here to get you a little bit of help?
All these enablers around you, folks.
All those enablers, and I know we can go back to talk about Whitney Houston and going on with Michael Jackson and all these different people that have been in the spotlight.
They didn't teach him anything either.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So, but here's the thing, and then we'll go to break. So here's the thing that, like we said earlier, when you know better, you need to do better. So if you're around these people at this point in life, you've seen Whitney's life, you've seen Michael Jackson's life, you've seen all these, you've seen Bobby Brown's life, you see all these people's life, and you're still perpetuating this cycle for yourself. Somebody got to stop the shit. From happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being straight up. Okay, somebody got to be the cause and effect to say, look, we got to stop this stuff. All right, and let me speak to your life and help you out. Man, I don't know who can do it, but somebody need to. And we're gonna finish when we get back from break. I'm getting upset. We'll be right back after this break.
Have a drink.
Have a sip.
Touch
All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into our lively wine celebration tonight. No, your beverage of choice. Real quick, we want to kind of bring you abreast on a little bit more about the do's and don'ts of different beverages that you have. Of course, as you know, the largest contributor, to weight gain, diabetes, all those things are sodas. Right. And they carry typically the most sugar that's out there, typically outside of those juices. Now, the orange juice and the cranberry juices, all those, they carry a lot of sugar as well. So that's something you kind of really want to make sure that you're aware of. If you have something like that, and at least give yourself the opportunity to have a glass. Was it here? I think they have a glass of water for every can of soda, or every ounce of soda that you have. You should have a glass of water, just like alcohol. I think if you drink too much alcohol, you should have the water to kind of even the sugar content that's in your body out. Dehydration. Well, that too, but exactly. But anyway, what we're just saying is just be conscious about that. At the end of the day, and just try not to make it so much of a part of what you do. I love it, but at the end of the day, I stick to the diet stuff. As much as I possibly can. I don't drink as much diet soda as I used to. Anymore, because the aspartames or whatever else that comes in, to sweetening it. So I try to shift away from that a little bit. In the process of it. But it's about managing and trying to figure out stuff, like we were telling everybody to manage your life. But we got to move on because the time is running out here. We want to talk about.
We got at Parnell. What was your take on this situation with Chris? And just to make sure.
That'd be the last party I throw for his ass.
Why is it with a woman though? Why is it issues are always with women? That's my thing. Like why? And I was telling him during the break. I think it's what's going to take is the fact that his peers are going to have to start retaliating. Right. They're going to have to start cutting ties so he can get the hint. Right. Because right now the support is not enough. And this situation with Brian McKnight is another situation. Now I'm so disappointed in Brian McKnight because I love his music. I thought of him during the 90s as one of those great singers that was just so inspirational. But the situation with his family and his kids, he as the father, he should have went a different route, even though he has very delusional or grandeur kids who want money and prestige with no work. But there's a way to go about getting your message across without using social media. I'm just saying.
I absolutely agree. For him to put his daughter on Front Street like that, to talk about the stuff that he heard that she was possibly having sex with a cousin or so, that's something we don't need to know. That's just something that's true. Why do we need to know that? That should not have come out in the public. And I know he's excited about his new baby, but to act like his baby is the only baby he has and to disregard the fact that he fathered other children, but the way he wrote this love letter to his son on Instagram is just, I'm like, come on, bro. Those are still your kids, even if they acting a fool, even if they're not doing, even if they're feeling like they are entitled and whatever, you just don't treat your kids any kind of way, not in public, especially.
Well, you're so right about that. That kind of rolls in like we talked about last week with Tariq. When Tyrese, yes. $696,000 in back child support. That something ain't happening. Something ain't right. And I'm just gonna say for Will Smith ain't bailing you out this time. But anyway, so
I can't imagine if my father was still alive and we weren't in good connection, and then he have another child, and he's gonna name his child. I'm Harold Jr. He's gonna name his new child Harold Jr. I can't even imagine how that must feel as a son.
It's hurtful.
Yeah, I can't.
Very hurtful.
Yeah, so
very hurtful. But anyway, we're gonna move on. We really got to get these two little quick topics in before we wrap it up. So let's talk about the Met Gala real quick, okay? And what an impact that certain people made during the Met Gala. All right.
Well, I thought P. Diddy was gonna fall out when somebody asked him a question. He's like, look like he was gonna have a stroke or something. I'm like, what's going on?
I know, right?
Yeah, the thing about the Met Gala, okay, those of you that are watching us that may not know about it, they consider the fashion show of the year, okay, and
to Anna Wintour standards.
Well, yeah, but then there's a lot of money raised through that, through certain things. Through that, she gives a lot of that money to the Fashion Institute, and help people go through college and stuff. And that's what it, basically it involves in that. And you have some outlandish, I guess, fashions, if you want to say, in the process of this. But you have these designers, they get with these celebrities actually to bring this type of work to the light. So this is where this is our opportunity to show their showcase their talents in a different way. But I do want to mention this our boy, I think Lil Nas X kind of went a little way to the X.
He was very cheeky.
He was quite cheeky, in a very cheeky outfit, The bro was almost naked. Okay, I'm just gonna say, at the end of the day, for some that enjoy, it was just a lot going on, and I don't know if we have a picture of his outfit or not. Maybe we can get that before we get to talk about
nice. I like that.
That's very interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know who is that. Do you see who it was? I couldn't tell what it was.
But let me tell you something. Mary J. Blige looks so over it. When you're standing in front of the camera, they're having to maneuver the dress a little bit to make it look stylish. She was looking at her stylist like, come on now, are you for real? Like, can we? It was like, I need to go home because this is a little too damn much. That's what she was giving me, that auntie look like. Come on now.
Well, see, in my opinion, her dress was nothing but a
there he is.
There he is. Mary J. Blige's dress was more than a repeat of Jennifer Lopez on the Oscars that year. She wore the green,
the Grammy green dress.
Grammy green dress.
Gotcha.
So that was just a re-end. But they didn't show the rest. We couldn't see the rest of Lil Nas X and his ex. But so he was not this is the celebrated talk. But they were saying that the theme was about cats. Things like that. So it was spoken there, whatever the idea of feline-ish. I'm creating a word, but felinism. This is what the whole idea. So he kind of went all the way into becoming a cat.
The thing was, I think it was Karl Lagerfeld,
right?
Yeah, and he had I forget his cat's name, but his cat was always with him. So there were a few people who did the cat thing, and it's so funny. People go, "Oh, this is so demonic," and I'm like, no, it's just people used to wear body paint trying to get into Studio 54. But I know we have time, so I'm going to shut up so we can get out of here on time.
Yes, we do. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, okay? Guys, we thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight on our beverage salute, okay? We will come back to you next week with a little bit more. Want to remind you real quick, go get that cash app, send us some money, okay? Your Venmo account, get it set up. We appreciate anything you do, send to us as well. We love you. We hope you took something from the show tonight, once again, and apply it to your life. And if it's number one thing, help somebody. Amen. Okay, help somebody, or help yourself to help somebody.
And make somebody happy.
All right, and love on people. All right, y'all have a great night. Thank you for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth. Good night.